Hello and welcome to your Thoughts from the Green Room with your host, Jeff Mays. This week's topic is on unconditional love. Who have you worked with? When was your last project? What's your next project? Do you do that full time? What's your day job? Do you have a backup plan? Is that a hobby of yours? Can you make a living doing that? What else have you done? Where are you going to go with that? Have you ever been to LA? These are all questions that I've heard as an actor about people inquiring towards where I am at my craft. And all of them, surprisingly, leave me feeling empty and hurt and compared to. And I know that often the question coming from somebody is to try and get a gauge of and understand what I've done and put it in context for them. What they don't realize when that statement comes across about who have you worked with or what's your next project, they're often looking to gauge for themselves against what they see as success. And that gets projected out onto myself and other artists. And that gauge of success is against what most people view as stardom. So, as an artist, it is often the case that if you don't have something that equates to star caliber, people unintentionally and sometimes intentionally remove your validation or devalue you because you haven't worked with Brad Pitt or Meryl Streep or you haven't put a painting up in the AGO or whatever it might be. I honestly don't think it's an intentional thing. I think it comes from a caring place that people ask these questions, especially when it's coming from close friends or family about, what's your next gig and how's the money going. They're worried about you. They want to see they want to see us live successfully and well. So it's not an intention to put us down, it's an intention to see what's going on to help, potentially. It's a fine line, it's a thin line, it's a semantic argument at times. But to that point, I was talking to my acting mentor, Linda Goranson, this week and having a good time. We were just kibitzing and, throwing stuff back and forth. And this topic came up and she was reminded about a quote, which I'd like to read to you. Very simple quote. All a child needs is one person who is unconditionally crazy about them in a non-exploitive way. What a beautiful, beautiful statement. And it simply means that any individual, artist or otherwise, who has true unconditional love from one individual will succeed in any venture that they put their mind to. It is often the case that when people are trying to gauge or understand or help, they devalue us and they leave us feeling conditionally loved, like we're not successful and valuable to them unless we've worked with the latest movie star or made $1,000 off of the last project or whatever have you. Which brings me to this week's challenge, ladies and gentlemen. And that challenge is fairly straightforward. It's a self-reflection on how you gauge others. I feel that this is a topic that applies across the board universally, and it can apply to anybody who is not an artist as well. When you hear the statement something like, "So, that project you're working on, how close is it to Bob's?" Same kind of concept. So I challenge you, ladies and gentlemen, to discuss with yourself and discover, are you a person who unintentionally devalues somebody by your questions? Or are you a person who genuinely uses appropriate language, appropriate language to find out about a person's projects and what they're doing with them based on their own merit and not against Bob's merits? Those are your thoughts from the Green Room, and I will see you in 1 week.